Hi, this is Goddess Phoenix here for another video. Guess maybe I don't know how to say this, but anyways, I don't know if it's like downloads or what I've noticed is September this month is even August was like, here we go again, another year of this stuff. And you have to understand that you have to take action. Because, like I said before, a lot of us, our physical inheritance and our spiritual, our divine inheritance, is they're trying to take it, both of them. By sitting and complaining about it, brought us into another whole year of this. What do we do to change? First of all, we have to heal from the betrayal of twin flames, family members. That's something that we have to heal from. And we heal in its steps, lessons. Sometimes we fall down, we got to get back up. What it's hard to do and what it's hard to recognize is when you're stuck in a past life because of the betrayal, because it's hard to heal. Like I said in the last video, a lot of us was unalived in a past life, and this life right here is redemption. How do we get to a point? God prepares our table for us. That means that we always have to be in tune and alignment with Him. He prepares your table by the spiritual awakenings and the healing and the learning from your dark shadows, and it's a process. The plates get set once you realize you have to heal from betrayal, from past life and even past betrayal. The glasses get set out when you have to heal something. If you have a mother wound or a father wound and you heal that, the silverware gets put out when you heal another aspect. Do you understand? That's how God prepares your table. We can't sit here. We can listen to these readings, but a lot of these readings are past and present, and kind of we need to really sit and listen to every single word people are saying, because they tell you how you should heal. I'm creatively putting out AI pictures that explain certain things I've learned about from a past life and this life and a future life, because I can dip into all three. I can tap into all three. Instead of sitting in a past, either past life or this past life, turn it into a story or turn it into an image where you expressing, that's why I say speak your truth. Expressing yourself is a healing mechanism that everybody needs to use. It's very important. That's why I put out animated stories. But then people are just like, oh, it's fairy tales. But there's learning lessons in fairy tales. Yes, a lot of fairy tales are the light side of a story, because there's duality in everything. But just because it's the light side of the story, we're living the dark side of the story. How do we get to the light side of the story? How do we get to those twin flame unions like Ariel and Aladdin and Tiana. I mean, Tiana is a great, The Princess and the Frog is a great look. You should look at it because it's a great story. How did they defeat the enemy? Because at first they was tricked too. And then you had a copycat or you had a glamour spell put on somebody. A lot of voodoo is being used, like it's being used now. These, even though they're fairy tales, what you call fairy tales are myths because they're animated. That's one thing we do need to get past. Just because something's animated doesn't mean it's fake. And just because it's called a fairy tale doesn't mean it's fake. These stories are out here for a reason. We're supposed to learn from them. Frozen, even Pocahontas, how that was all made up. Princess and the Frog, even emojis. Even emojis is an important. Trolls is important. The Incredibles is very important. I've been pointing that out for a very long time. Even Monsters Inc. is important. Watch them and you'll learn. You'll be like, oh, wait a minute. Lion King? See, now people want to come out with stuff and go, Mufasa wasn't really the right king and it was really Scar. And, and it's like, okay, like I said, there's duality and everything. Okay, there's a dark side to it too. But you need to explain the dark side a little bit more. You can't say that one side is better. You can't say that one side is worse than the other or more true than the other when they both could happen or they both probably did happen because we're talking about previous lifetimes. You're supposed to learn from previous lifetimes. So like I told you in the last video about the voice I heard, remember he didn't sign the contract. We can't repeat the past life. So there are certain things that we learn in this life that we have to be like, okay, that's a clue, that's a clue, that's a clue. So then when your karmic twin shows up in your life, you're not fooled into thinking he's changed. Because he didn't change, because he didn't sign the contract. A lot of divine masculines did not sign the contract. And we can't fall into their trap. Because there's traps that they laid out. In the past life, we fell into the trap. This life is redemption. We don't fall into the trap because we learned the steps. Yesterday I was in a dark place because I was stuck in the past thinking, dang, I was betrayed. I can't believe these people did this. You just got to heal from that and go, not again. You ain't doing it again. Your creative things that you put out is how you beat the monster. By expressing yourself. Because I know with every story that I put out, the prophecy of the seer, 42, enemy vampires, and the sacrifice, I've healed because I've talked about it. I've healed all those betrayals. So then now it's like, okay, I'm hitting. As you talk about it and as you voice it or put it out in a picture or even a comic book, I was thinking about doing a little comic book. Learn how to be creative so that you can heal. Let's not sit here on tarot reading after tarot reading after tarot reading and complain and bitch and moan about how these people are affecting us. This ain't it. It's not it. I had to learn that. I mean, we're going through another year. I mean, for me, it's another year. And I'm like, here we go again. And I'm like, oh no, I got to change something. Because what I did last year, a whole year has come by and ain't nothing changed. That's why we have to heal the betrayal, the sacrifices, the death spells. We can't get mad that they're sending us stuff because that's how it hits you. You have to just recognize it and alchemize it. Don't even return it to sender. Don't even do that. That's just a waste of energy. Take it, water it, give it some sun, and change it into something else. You know, start growing plants. Start a garden. Write a comic book. Write a book. Write a poem. Create a video game. Express how you're feeling. That's how you heal. That's why I say don't keep secrets. Because all that's going to do is eat you, eat you, eat you. Grow, 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 grow until it consumes you. Don't hold on to secrets. Don't do it. And you don't have to tell nobody your secret. You just have to sit down with God and talk to God and talk to your ancestors. That's all you have to do. You don't even got to tell nobody your secret. You just got to sit here and go, God, you know about that one time. You know what I'm saying? He knows, but he's willing to sit down and listen. And I say he, but God is really an it. It's an energy. So but I'm gonna say he because I'm so used to he. He is an energy source that supplies his self throughout the world. He's everywhere. Anybody can tap into him. Whether you're a Hindu, a Buddhist, a Taoist, Islamic, Hebrew, Christian. But it's best not to box yourself into one religion because there's truth in all of them. Because one is not going to have what the other has. You know, being a Christian, okay, you learn the Bible and it teaches you life lessons. It teaches you how to be one with God and Jesus, and it teaches you how to know Jesus. And it teaches you somewhat how to live a life. But you're not going to learn that from Hinduism. Hinduism is a whole different thing. That's more the spiritual. That's like Hinduism is deep. It's very deep. It's deeper than Christian. Because it's an older religion. Buddhism, you're not going to learn how to meditate being a Christian. You need to meditate. Being a Buddhist, you're going to learn how to meditate. Being a Hinduist, is that a word? You're going to learn how to meditate. That's how you get in touch with Source. You're a lost vessel if you don't meditate. You have to meditate. That's how they talk to you. But if you're just tapped into being a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew, I forgot. I had a brain fart. I forgot. Then you're not going to get the whole pie. You're just going to get a piece of the pie. Like, okay, I learned this. I mastered this. But there's more. There's 12 more slices. You can learn certain things from each religion. They teach you different things. Confucianism, Confucianism teaches you how you relate to other people. How you give respect when respect is due to people. Taoism teaches you how to be free. Not being attached to anything, but to be free. To be in a state of freedom. Hinduism teaches you about spiritual warfare. Being a Christian, I can't say Christianity, I think, that's how you say it. That just teaches you. Somebody said earlier that the Bible is about indigenous people. No, the Bible is really about chosen ones. And how they maneuvered and how God spoke to each one of those people. Because I can tell you that I'm living like Job right now. A lot of people can be like, oh, I'm living like Job. And then we can identify with Moses. Then we can identify with Jesus. It's the main characters are chosen ones. You learn from how they got past their fears. Moses was very scared because he stuttered. And he was scared to take that leadership role. And he I was about to say half-ass, excuse me. He kind of did because he still was behind his brother. Or he still kind of like worked beside his brother. But the Bible could be about indigenous people. It could be. I think you can take it and fit it into almost anything. Just like all these myth and legends that are out there. I have a myth and legends book that I read. You can learn a lot of things from that. I don't see how it's about indigenous peoples now that I think about it. It's about chosen ones. This is how Job got through his stuff that was happening to him. This is how Moses got through his fear of being a leader. Abraham and Sarah, Sarah felt like because she was so old that she couldn't have no kids. She didn't have faith in God, that God was going to provide. So what they do, he had intercourse with the Hagar, I think. Had the woman, and then it was until after she had, oh my gosh, Ishmael, I think. After she had Ishmael, I think Sarah realized that God could bless her. You don't, just because you're so old doesn't mean that you can't produce, because it's God's hand that helps produce. It's God's say, not your say. So that's a story in itself, that you should never doubt God, because of your age. You thought, oh, I couldn't have none. And God didn't provide because you doubted. And then when you saw Abraham give Ishmael love, you were like, oh, wait, uh-uh. You know, but in that situation, we have two nations. We have the Jews and we have Muslims. You see how that works. That's God's work. That's God's plan. He does work in mysterious ways. Like how I was born. That was in a mysterious way. And how I was conceived. That's God. He had to understand that. We've ended karma for ourselves and started for our enemies when we learn to intellectually fight back. We have to learn how to fight back, not just in the physical, but in the spiritual. And how do we do that? Like I said, learning how to heal, learning where you are in the timeline, first of all. A lot of this is past life stuff that we need to be reminded of, and we need to heal from it. And then that's how we get into the present. And then whatever's happening to us now, we have to be able to heal, put up boundaries. In karmic cycles, we need to do what we need to do what we need to do to get to the future. But we can't get to the future when we're stuck in karmic cycles. When we are stuck in a time where we can't let somebody go. Or we let somebody walk all over us. Or we keep secrets. Or you just let people walk all over you and abuse you. You have to stand up and defend yourself spiritually and physically and emotionally and mentally. That's healing everything from past life to present. And if you know the future, future. But it takes work to get into the future. You have to heal the past and the present. And you have to learn from those things. And you learning is the seeds that grow. You not learning is you putting out the seeds and they not growing. What is that? The farmer and the sow, the sour and the sour and the seed. I love that. God, I'm losing my words. What is that called? Why am I having a brain fart? Parables. Jesus taught in parables. I'm like, okay, I'm searching. Come on. I know it starts with a P. I love that parable because it really teaches you. Salvation is when you start healing. Because a lot of times, what we think is happening now is probably not happening now. The death spell, like the death spell is an initiation. It's an initiation in the spiritual and an initiation in the spiritual. Like I said, there's duality everywhere. We have to learn not just the physical aspect of something, but we have to learn the spiritual. And when you learn the spiritual is when you really realize, okay, now I know why this happened. Now I know why I had to get through it to get to it. It's a learning lesson. Everything is. That's why we go through cycles. That's why it's here we go again. Because we just ain't learned. We ain't learned. So then now we got to repeat again. Because we didn't learn. A whole nother year later. I'm not going into the next year like this. I'm not. So I have to figure out how I can excel. How I can expand. I will be doing some readings tomorrow. I mean, today. It is like about 3 o'clock. It's 2:32. Anyways, I'm going to do some more AI pictures. Put out some more stuff. Maybe another story. I don't know. I have 2 stories that I'm working on right now. So, this is Guidance for an Seer.